Hey, I got a question, y'all, and I want to try to execute my this video. I don't know how I'm gonna come across. Hopefully, I come across in this video can just hopefully it people can understand where I'm coming from because I'm gonna try to articulate to the best of my ability and so on and so forth, so that you understand. And I'm gonna try to do my best. Um, y'all notice that I have a habit. I mean, I do everything I can is to at least try to give my people knowledge. You know, the people that I talk to, right? Waking. I'm speaking in reference of waking our people up to who they are. You see what I'm saying? Things of that nature. So when you're dealing with certain people, right? You gotta, you gotta like everybody's different, right? We all on different levels. Some people will take the information and they'll be glad that you gave it to them. Some people, it's like they don't want to be overwhelmed with a bunch of a lot of messages and stuff. So let me come off like this. Um, I don't know what's really going on with me. Um, it's like I have issues with interacting with certain people that's not on the same level as me. I do. I have a. It's a huge. It's playing a huge impact and affecting my interaction with certain people. So I'm wondering, is it me or is it that sometimes, because I know we say that certain things is it's not a coincidence, and then some things is a coincidence. It's coincidentally, or it's preordained to happen, or whatever. And by me, I still consider myself of having little knowledge, even though I can go to the Bible and I can like show people in the Bible who, things like who Esau is in Genesis 25 describes and give the characteristics of his spirit versus Jake's spirit, the the Israelites. So when you're trying to approach, especially now, let's say you're dealing with children, you're dealing with teen, no, not, let me say it like this: teenagers from 12. When you walk, let's say you saying your first words would be, "Hey, what is your ethnicity? What is your nationality? What is your nationality?" Is there a professional way is to come off to certain people or teenagers and stuff? Because we know that teenagers, children that are growing into teenage, they tend to take it differently. What you're saying, you see what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to understand when you approach, like, okay, here I am. I approached a young man. He looked like he's no more than about 12, right? And I'm already knowing that what I got in my mind and what I do on my channel. Because I'd be like, hey, you're the Israelites according to the Bible. Wake up, repent, keep the commandments, and da da, and all that good stuff. So I'm like, do I need to skill myself more in how to deal with, to talk to everybody, all the children, all of the teenagers on a different level? Because when you come up, cause see, my aim is to wake them up to who they are. You know what I mean? And then you get like, if I say like, let me give you an example. What if you ask somebody their nationality, right? Like, what is your nationality? By them being, and I get it. You have to be patient when it comes to the younger ones. I get it. Sometimes it's kind of hard because maybe that may be where I might need uh like shaping and molding a little bit more. You see what I'm saying? Because you dealing with somebody like myself that didn't have a father in their life, right? Didn't grow up with them. Don't know what it's like to have one in their life. Don't know what it's like to be, hey man, look, if I was you, I wouldn't make that decision. No. We all most of us in the African American community, we came from, and I'm just saying African American just for the sake of context. And we, you know what I mean, most of us come up in the African American home. Most of us are not raised with our fathers. Most of us are raised up in a one parent household. And y'all know what I mean. Now, when somebody, if you say, "Hey, what's up, young man? What is your nationality?" And then they say, "What is your ethnicity? What is your race? What is your so and so?" Meaning, what is your race? If you had to go and tell people what your, would you say so-called black? Would you say black or Chinese or whatever? And then the person responds by saying, "What you want to know what my nationality is for?" Where you may have some people or some teenagers, they'll be like, if you like, they'll understand like, huh, what do you mean? Some of them will be like, well, what do you mean? Like, what is your race? If somebody asks you what your race is, or whatever, if you was trying to get a job somewhere, what would you put down as your ethnicity, blah 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 blah, and so on and so forth. Now, some teenagers will understand, you know what I mean, because I understand that some teenagers are different. Some children works different. Some adults work differently. You know what I'm saying? We respond to it differently. So I get it. I understand it's gonna be different preferences preferences in different ways of thinking because we just are different and we're just naturally for us to be different, right? So when you now in my mind, when that person responded to me and say, "What you want to know my race for?" or something like that, in my mind, what's going through my mind is, okay, this person think that I'm trying to bring harm to them. When I'm not, in essence, trying to bring harm to them, I'm trying to say, hey, wake up and come back to who you are. Christ is the so-called black man you've been lied to. You was given that name black because a nation of people that is the enemy to us and everything, the enemy, and that hates our people. They came over here and saw the need to benefit off of conquering you and taking your money, your wealth, your resources, and then they gave you another name, strip you of who you really are. And that's my whole purpose of doing that. You see what I'm saying? So in essence, in a situation like that, how would you respond to a person like that? Would you be like, cause at that point you'd be like, damn, he didn't know I was trying to wake him up to to his identity. But before he can even hear me the rest of the hear the rest of the why I said it. I immediately got shot down for being misunderstood. When I was going to, in essence, or when the person was going to, in essence, say, well, look, this is the reason why I said that. You heard of Christopher Columbus and blah blah. You heard of them coming over here and stealing this land and claiming it to be theirs. That's what the so-called white men, white folks did, and this and that and the third. And you trying your best. Oh, that was your whole purpose. Your intentions was to ask them that so that you can tell them who they are and say, hey, this is who you are according to the Bible. You are the greatest person on the planet. Come back to who you are. Don't let the lying deceivers out there, like the so-called white man and they people, tell you these lies and put these stereotype you with these different thoughts in your mind and have you think you have a stereotype about somebody doing something, then all of a sudden you immediately going out stereotyping that person because of what this person brainwash you or whitewash you with white images of Christ to believe. You see what I'm saying? So at that point, it kind of caught me off guard because I do know that everybody's different. And then, don't get me wrong, it didn't really surprise me, but in a way it did, but in a way it didn't. If that makes sense. In a way it did, but in a way it did. I wasn't, you know how you say certain things to people and trying to wake them up to who they are. Like me, for me, in the instant of being in the spirit of trying to wake them up, that felt, I guess it was something that, I don't know, that they never heard of. Or let me know if y'all experienced that. You know, if somebody, now, they do have some people in my neighborhood. I ask them who they are, and they just upfront, like they'll say, I say, if you had to fill out an application for a job, some people just don't take it offensive. They be like, "Oh, okay, okay, what's going on?" Some of them may say, "Well, okay, why? Well, what's?" Oh, okay, the reason I asked is because I want to let you know, according to the Bible, your biblical name is Judah, or your biblical name is such and such, or your biblical name is, you say, Cuban. Your biblical name is Manasseh. Your biblical name is this, and so on and so forth. I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. And then they'll say, when they say that, I'll be like, okay, I just want to encourage you is to go home and please look into that. Look into it, and you'll see what I'm telling you, and do some research on it. Okay, man, I'm gonna do that, and then we'll go our separate ways and stuff. Where you may find some people, you have to come kind of meet them on their level, and you have to approach them differently. You know, everybody can't be approached. That's what I'm starting. So, what are y'all thoughts on what I'm saying? What do you think going on? Do you think you was in a situation like that to where, or did you experience that? Asking a person what their nationality was because your intention is to try to like teach them who they are according to God, and you kind of get kind of knocked down a little bit, being misunderstood because they didn't know where you was going with the line of questioning that you was asking them. You know what I mean? When you ask them a question, they be like curious to know where you're going, and I guess some people just be a little bit more curious. What do you think going on in that situation? Just like, all right, let's say if it was me, right? Let's just say if it was me, you came up to me and asked me my nationality. Let's say if I'm a teenager, or maybe I can be grown, hell, and you say, hey, man, what's your nationality? What is your ethnicity? And then I say something like, what you want to know my ethnicity for? What you want to know my race for? And I'm looking at you with an aggressive look, and and speaking to you in an aggressive tone, and plus looking at you with a aggressive or an aggressive look. What? How would you respond to people? Would you like give them the scripture? Give me some scriptures. I know somebody gonna give me some scriptures down at the bottom of because the only thing that I can do is take them to Hosea Hosea chapter 4 and 6. I know some people will take me there. I know y'all will. If there's a scripture in the Apocrypha that you can put down in the comment section for me, I would appreciate it if you can do that. I would appreciate it. And I do have the Apocrypha with me, but I'm still trying to study and marinate the scriptures down into my brain too. You know what I mean? So that when I'm speaking or talking to people, I can because see me, I grew up confused. When I first heard the truth of God didn't love everybody and He didn't love everybody, He only loved the Israelites. It didn't offend me when I first found out that nationality was important. It didn't offend me. It really concerned me because I know that's important. You know what I mean? For me, I wanted to know more about it, and and maybe that's the reason why I uphold it probably on my channel here. It's because I see a lot of the stuff that's being done. It resonates with me. You know what I mean? Everything that when you go and read in Deuteronomy, and then when I look at my family history, and when I look at even though our uncles and things that they had died off, and we didn't get a chance to ask. And father, they died off, and so we don't have none of them but our cousins. And so we didn't know what it was like, and we still don't know because they never gave us no history of a lot of things. You see what I'm saying? So we just when they went and read Isaiah 1 and 3, the ox knoweth his owner and asked his master's crib. Then I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it's starting to make sense now because maybe we probably might be the product of the Bible because I'm like, because okay, anytime you got to go and ask who you are, and you can't do it because they're deceased. It's nothing you can do about it. You see what I'm saying? But be on the wonder, like, what the hell? What the hell? You know what I mean? And you like, man, I hope I am an Israelite or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So you experience, I experience all kinds of things like that. Of thinking, I think, do a lot of thinking like that, you know. So it really didn't offend me because I'm looking at it like this here. It ain't no time to be getting offended over like something you don't know for sure. That's how I took it. Now, somebody else in my family, it's a possibility that they might. I would say they may. I would say they won't take it offensive, but they would start asking questions. But I'm just making a point. Um, Everybody responds. Everybody's not going to going when they hear something. They going to. "Oh, I don't believe that." Some people just ain't. They'll know that they are confused, but some people will be ashamed is to admit that they've been ignorant all their life. But for me, I wasn't ashamed to admit that I was ignorant of something. I was too proud to acknowledge that, hey, too glad to say, hey, I'm ignorant to this and I don't know this. Where you got some children or some people, they will feel offended. Some people just get offended when you ask them questions that they don't know. You know what I'm saying? If somebody say, why you what you want to know my race for? They probably don't know where you're going. And some people it may offend them because they don't understand why you said it, because they don't want you, they figure, I don't know, that you may say something and they didn't know it and they're afraid and they don't want to be like, well, they don't want to admit to that, oh, I didn't know that. Because it would be a shame for them. It probably would be embarrassing to them is to say, oh shit, I didn't know that. And they probably don't want to, and they probably, instead of them saying, oh, I didn't know that, they responded in offense, they got offensive with it, and probably was like, what you asking me that for? Why you want to know my race or something like that? Them not knowing that you truly care about them and you want to wake them up because Esau is lying to our people. You see what I'm saying? And I understand. So that might be the Most High just saying, don't be surprised, don't expect for because you have to remember, you didn't get it neither. You was there too. I said, yep, I was there. So I'm trying hard just to be a little bit more patient because I don't want to just go and just beat people down, beat my brothers and sisters down because they don't understand or they don't know. But I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of hard now, especially when I be trying to give information and they turn around and reject it. You know what I'm saying? So I said, well, maybe that's the Lord might have to work on me. Maybe it might be me. You see what I'm saying? Pistol Pete. Hey, did you watch that video of Dr. Umar Johnson? Where I like what he said. It was a little small clip. They told he was in a debate with about 3 people, and they had another woman there. So it was like 4 people was in the room. And he says, why is it that black men date white women? And then Dr. Umar Johnson said, I can tell you why, because of low self-esteem. You see what I'm saying? And then they say, you are absolutely wrong for that. And then he went on to told them that our queen, black queens, come in many different shades. Yeah, I think it was kind of funny to me, but it was true. I loved it, every bit of what he was saying. It was hilarious how he broke it down because he was real. Okay, let me go ahead on. Okay, look like okay, like some people. I be trying to like I ask them. I say, "What's your nationality?" Now I asked somebody that in my hood, and they was like, "What you want to know my race for or something?" And they didn't understand and didn't know where I was going with it because my aim was I was finna open up and finna go in and tell them who they was and tell them Esau, the white man that's been on the planet, like been lying to him and stuff like that. That's what I was gonna get off into, but I'm like, damn, he took it offensive. He shot me down before I can even explain. Like, so I guess some people come from a different place and they're gonna respond like that. Now, back then, I remember Brother Gilly, you used to listen to that song Ice Cube made, "Fuck the Police" and all that. I didn't understand that back then, but now I be doing videos, and I'm very proud to say I'm glad he did make a song like that against them. When he said the black police showing out for the white cop and all that kind of stuff. I didn't understand, but now I understand why now. I definitely understand why he made that song. Because you do have our people, they call them back in the day, Malcolm X called them house niggas. That's right, still true to this day. See, I know you understand. Definitely. You know what I'm saying? And most of our people is suffering from Stockholm syndrome. You can't really. I didn't even think something that I was gonna come to a realization like this in. Sometimes I ask myself, it's amazing that you chose out of everybody, you picked me. Was sometimes I ask myself, was I born and was it that we all born and you already all right? This is what I'm trying to say. When you are born, right? When you are born into this world, the Most High already know what you gonna do before you do it and everything. That's what stands out to me the most. That's amazing. He already know, like they say, everything is ordained. Somebody told me like this, they say everything that is set up and ordained and set up by the Most High for a reason. Like years ago, before I was born, like right now, as I'm speaking right now, doing this video, the Most High knew that I would be doing this here. But I didn't know this here. I didn't know that it was gonna come to this here. I didn't know that. I didn't know that I'd be making videos and advocating. I didn't even know that YouTube thing was gonna exist. I didn't know that I was gonna be wide open like this here. So maybe, I don't know, maybe it's for a reason. Some things I still don't understand. All I know is that I love doing it. I love being an eye opener. You know what I mean? I love doing it. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad that I'm not an Uncle Tom. I say that. I'm glad that I'm not an asshole. I'm just bold to saying it for the so-called white man. I'm glad that I'm not. And you know what I'm saying? But I still have questions in the back of my mind. I say, why is it that I like doing videos? I have another channel where I just do regular videos. Why do I like doing videos? Why is it that what is it that you put in us? Is it something that you put in us to make us like certain things? That's right. He knows the exact day when we are going to die. That's right. That's true. That's amazing, man. Everything is ordained and set up by the Most High for a reason. I don't care what it is. That's really amazing, man. I think about that. You know. And then sometimes I ask myself, well, because like they say, God can choose whoever He wants. Now, even though He knew that I would be at this place and at this moment, right now doing this here, I ask myself, is the capability of me still, the capability is still there for me is to be a sellout Uncle Tom? I be asking myself those questions a lot. Like, even though you have, no matter how godly or how spiritual that you claim you are and you want to grow in all this, like I be saying, I want to grow and get more and be more be better, a better person in life. Like, even though I'm doing this here, I would say no matter how good you are, is the capability of that person, is the capability of being evil still there? Like, I ask myself this question a lot too. I say, just like, if you have a woman, right? This woman faithful to you, and this woman cheating on you, and if you find out she cheating on you with somebody else, it's gonna really be a heartbreaking, and you know what I'm saying, especially somebody you cared about, right? So, in the same breath, if you say, "Man, I had this woman, man, and she was good to me, man, and we've been together for 20 years and blah blah," and then I say, ask myself, is that same woman that has been faithful, are she still, is the capability of cheating is still there within her spirit? That's what I ask myself. If you understand what I mean, is the capability still there? Like, they had a man told me long time ago. I said, what about you take the people that goes out here and do all kind of crimes, or maybe murder or something like that there, is, even though it's not in them to do it, it wasn't born into their nature to do it. It's not in their nature to go around and do certain things like that. You couldn't. They wouldn't even imagine themselves of going out and doing and committing the most heinous thing. But I still ask myself this here: is, no matter how righteous or how good that person is the capability is still there for that person to do, to go out and rob or something like that? That's just me asking questions. Maybe that's why it wasn't so hard for me, is to come into this truth, into this knowledge, because I would always ask questions. My mother's dad, which was my grandfather on my mother's side, he would always call me the question answer, because I would always be asking questions. I always wanted to know what was right, even though I didn't even know. Just like when we was growing up in a poor hood, living in a certain condition, and I always noticed, but I didn't understand why. White people seemed like, so-called white people always seemed like they was at the top and they was rich and they had more. I noticed a difference, but I never understood why. Once God punishes her, she probably won't do it again. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, you mean we were speaking when I was talking about her cheating? Yeah. And then I asked the question, like I said, let me make sure people understand. The same person that God delivers from whatever it is that she's doing, and she turn around and you say, "Oh, this is a good woman, man. This is a real good woman," and you know she a good woman. Sometimes is it like you be like, okay, is the capability still there for them to actually be a wretched woman, whatever, you know? And then I came to a conclusion, and I said this. I said, you know, women, at the end of the day, whether if it's your daughter or whether if it's your niece or whatever, you ask yourself, okay, now the only difference is this person here is close and kin to me. That's the only difference. They just close and kin to me. But at the end of the day, I I train myself to say, at the end of the day, they still is just like any other woman. They still a woman at the end of the day, whether they close and kin to you or whether they not kin to you by physical blood. They can be just as damaging as the woman that's not kin. No, your kin people, the woman can be uh just as dangerous and do this capable of the same thing as the woman who is not kin to you. But the only difference is they just close and kin. If that make any sense. You just close to them in kin. Somebody told me like this here too. They said you have the inside adversary. The inside adversary could be your family, and the outside adversary. It's the same thing. They have the same spirit. The only difference is you just not close in kin, if that make any sense. And some people would say, of course, they have the same capability as that woman that you're trying to date. Just like your mother is different. There's a different relationship from your mother versus the woman that you're dating, right? You know that your mother is your mother. The woman that you're dating is a whole different uh it's gonna be a whole different world. You're gonna be in a whole different world, right? And the only kind of relationship you have with your mother is your mother is your mother. That's it. You know what I mean? So that's it. That's the far as it go. A woman that's not your mother, that's not kin to you at all, then you can be in a different world with that woman, and you can have children by this woman because this woman is nowhere close in kin to you, right? So even though it's still a differences, one is your mother, one is not your mother. She's just a regular girl that's not kin to you at all. So you can be girlfriend with her and baby this and that with the woman that is not close in kin to you. So I said that to say this here. The woman that all right, let me say it like this here. I know this is kind of weird. Like a lot of people saying, what the hell is he saying? All right, let me break it down this way. If I see a woman that I like, right, and you walking, and the woman may say something like, who is that? Who is that? Who is that creepy ass dude or something? I'm gonna have to call my brothers. I don't know what the hell he up to or something like that. Uh, they'll put Esau involved. Like they might go and tell some people, and they'll believe it faster because the woman is a woman, right? I don't know who that man is. That man just sitting up there staring at me. I thought I started to call the police because he was staring and stuff like that. Now, let's take that what I just said. The men that, let's say, your mother, like your mother, is it? I'm thinking. I guess it's possible for what I'm trying to say is, and what I'm getting at is, any woman, whether she's not kin to you versus kin to you, have the same capability of saying that same thing that this woman said about calling her brothers, right? Do you think that back in the day that your mother had the capability of saying the same thing to other men that she dated in her life or something? Or do you think certain women's is just made for that, and just certain women's that grow up is just not made to be aggressive like that? That's what I'm thinking. If that makes sense to what I'm saying. Oh man, I had this thing on mute, bro. This thing was on mute, man. Did you hear me? Did anybody hear me? Because I looked and saw the mic, and looked like I saw it was like I had an X cross and it was muted. If not, I just come back and explain the whole thing over in another video. Let me know if y'all heard most of what I said, or if I was mute. Because I was when I just kind of looked at it and saw like I was mute. But if not, I'm gonna go ahead on. I'm gonna get up out of here. And we'll talk a little bit later, and I'll come back and I'll talk about this topic a little bit later on today sometime. When I get home.